Gambia, Angola, China Holding, GASH, producers of the finest tomato paste in the Gambia. Jaja tomato paste, available in 5 kilos, 1 kilo and in sachets. For wholesale and retail, visit our factory at Banjulunding. We are also producers of Jaja mineral water, cool, clear and fresh. GASH, Gambia, Angola, China Holding, with headquarters at Fatu Golden Plaza, Mile 7, Bertel Harding Highway. GASH Group also provides the best security company, GASH Security, for your offices, warehouses, homes and personal property. GASH Group for all your construction projects, offering you quality water reticulation for your gardens, pump irrigation, tidal irrigation projects and all types of buildings. You can contact GASH on 396-7894, 700-8993, 373-0259. Visit us at GASH Global Group on Battle Harden Highway, Fatu Golden Plaza. Our website www.gashglobal.com. Gambia, Angola, China Holding, GASH.
It's a more welcome to our studio here in Serekunda. This is Star TV News with me, Untitled Chapter. In the headlines tonight, President Barrow participates in the first virtual meeting of the Cabinet Subcommittee on COVID-19. New 3 COVID-19 related deaths as 22 new cases recorded on Tuesday. The WHO warns smokers have higher chances of getting COVID-19. The gym is one of the most important places to operate during this pandemic, says MODOU SALLAH. On the international scene, WHO declare Africa free of polio. The Sudan Prime Minister said government has no mandate to normalize Israel ties. Republicans tout inclusive vision for Donald Trump's re-election. Those were the headlines, and now the news in details. His Excellency President Adama Barrow said that the COVID-19 pandemic has not spared any part of the globe, including the Gambia. He added that despite the small size of the country, if anyone adhered to the health guidelines, we would register significant progress in the fight against the virus. The President made the remarks on the first virtual meeting of the Cabinet Subcommittee on COVID-19, chaired by the Vice President Dr. Aissatou Touré on Monday. Mariama Jabi files in this report.
The President expressed delight in having his cabinet colleagues back to work, adding a lot needs to be done as the pandemic is affecting every sector. Besides the regular briefings he receives from the Vice President, this meeting has availed him the opportunity to hear firsthand the achievements and challenges encountered in the fight against the disease. President Barrow used the opportunity to express gratitude to the new National COVID-19 Response Coordinator, Mr. Yaya Duwa-Sanyang, for accepting the job and encourage all stakeholders to work together as a team. He also urged them to learn and seek support from others if need be. The Health Minister and the National COVID-19 Response Coordinator respectively briefed the meeting on recent health response strategies adopted, including efforts to overcome the challenges in the containment, treatment and prevention of coronavirus in the country. On the treatment of COVID-19, the meeting was informed that over 80 beds are available and currently over 20 of them were occupied in the Greater Banjul area. Meanwhile, testing facilities are being decentralized to make them more accessible to rural communities, and 3 facilities, Kiankeneba, Soma and Basse, are now operational, while Bansang Farafenye, the Independent Stadium, and Demban Clinic are being refurbished to accommodate and make treatment of COVID-19 cases more accessible. The health response team will also be reviewing the surveillance strategies in containing community transmission by building the capacity of surveillance workers and increasing the number of tests per day. Other aspects of the coronavirus pandemic discourse included the negative impact of the emergency regulation on various sectors and efforts to mitigate them, the role of the various frontline workers, as well as support of individuals and groups were recognized and appreciated by the Cabinet Subcommittee. In his closing remark, the Gambian leader reiterated that as a politician, he depends on technical advice to enable him to make informed policy decisions. He described the meeting as good and worth the time, while pointing out that Apart from the health aspect of COVID-19, other facets of our development agenda should be addressed and the procedures and processes enhanced. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Mariama Jabi.
New 3 COVID-19 related deaths recorded, bringing the total number of deaths registered since March to 93. There are 22 new cases registered yesterday, 26 August 2020, taking the total number of COVID-19 cases ever confirmed in the country to 2,708. Out of a total of 7 posthumous samples collected, 3 tested positive for COVID-19. The median age at date of the 3 deceased cases, 2 females and 1 male, is 60 years, ranged 51 to 76 years. 98 new laboratory test results received from MRCG and MPHL. Of these 5, 1 repeat and 4 new. A test return indeterminate. Volunteer doctors have taken it upon themselves to account for positive cases and that are self-isolating at home by regularly calling and monitoring their conditions. 10 new recoveries registered, bringing the cumulative number of recoveries to date to 611, 23% recovery rate. However, 17 people were newly taken into quarantine. 278 new discharges were made. The country currently has 31 people in quarantine, 2,004 active cases, 220 probable cases, and a crude case fatality ratio of 3.4%. The bulk of the active cases are asymptomatic and is as such self-isolating at home, pending the manifestation of symptoms. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Dada Cham. Tobacco kills more than 8 million people globally every year. More than 7 million of these deaths are from direct tobacco use, and around 1.2 million are due to the non-smokers being exposed to second-hand smoke. Tobacco smoking is a known risk factor for many respiratory infections and increases the severity of respiratory diseases. A review of studies by the public health expert convened by the WHO on 29 April 2020 found that smokers are more likely to develop severe disease with COVID-19 compared to non-smokers. So it is smokers a chance of COVID-19 higher than that of the non-smokers. Our reporter Jacqueline Collins has more.
COVID-19 is an infectious disease that primarily attacks the lungs. Smoking impairs lung function, making it harder for the body to fight off coronavirus and other diseases. Tobacco is also a major risk factor for non-communicable diseases like cardiac disease, cancer, respiratory disease, and diabetes, which put people with these conditions at higher risk of developing severe illness when affected by COVID-19. Available research suggests that smokers are at higher risk of developing severe disease and death. Tobacco smokers such as cigarettes, water pipes, biddies, cigars, heated tobacco products may be more vulnerable to contracting COVID-19 as the act of smoking involves contact of fingers and possibly contaminated cigarettes with the lips, which increases the possibility of transmission of viruses from hand to mouth. Smoking water pipes, also known as Caesar or hookah, often involves the sharing of mouthpieces and hoses, which could facilitate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus in communal and social settings. Given the risks that tobacco use causes, the WHO recommends quitting tobacco use. Quitting will help your lungs and heart to work better from the moment you stop. Within 20 minutes of quitting, elevated heart rate and blood pressure drop. After 12 hours, the carbon monoxide level in the bloodstream drops to normal. Within 2 to 12 weeks, circulation improves and lung function increases. After 1 to 9 months, coughing and shortness of breath decrease. Quitting will help to protect your loved ones, especially children, from exposure to second-hand smoke. Meanwhile, on the 25th August 2020, the WHO African region has officially been certified as having eradicated wild polio virus. This milestone is an incredible public health achievement for the continent and a huge step forward on the road to global polio eradication. In 1996, African heads of state committed to eradicate polio during the 32nd Ordinary Session of the Organization of African Unity in Yaoundé, Cameroon. The reason behind the declaration was that polio was then paralyzing an estimated 75,000 children annually on the African continent. In the same year, Nelson Mandela, with the support of Rotary International, jump-started Africa's commitment to polio eradication with the launch of the Kick Polio Out of Africa campaign. It is also important to note that while polio virus was eradicated from the region long before COVID-19 emerged, It has been more than 45 months with certification standard surveillance since the last case of paralysis by wild poliovirus was reported in the WHO African region in Borno State, Nigeria. Modeling also suggests that the circulation of wild poliovirus in the WHO Afro region was likely terminated in 2018. Jacqueline Coley reporting for Star TV News.
Earlier today, Star TV had an exclusive interview with the owners of some of the gyms in the Gambia. The owner of Universal Sport Gym of Kairaba Avenue said that the gym is one of the places that needs to operate during this pandemic. Yamano Koka reports.
Mr. SALLAH said that the gym has been closed for months now. This, he claims, is not very good because patients of diabetes, hypertension and other related sicknesses need to exercise to be healthy. Mr. SALLAH noted that the gym is like other sectors of health because it can stop you from contracting other sicknesses.
As the gyms are in the right place to try and apply the measures designed by the WHO World Health Organization, that we can be using disinfectants. We are using gloves at the gyms. We are using our towels. We are having disinfectant there at the gyms. So with all those things and washing our hands before entering the gym. So that could make things easy for us to prevent the COVID-19 from spreading. Yeah, the health aspect is very wide because the gyms are just like another sector of the health, whereby it's the preventive measures for health, because as English says, prevention is better than cure. Because if you see these banks and these GM companies paying for their staff to go to the gym because they know it minimizes the cost of their insurance, health insurance payments. So meaning that if you go to the gym, you are preventing yourself from many sicknesses, like the diabetes, the hypertension, and you name it. All of them, the gym serves its purpose for them. So that's why it deemed necessary that for the health sector to try and consult us as the gym owners so that we can discuss ways and means and measures that we can put in place so that we can open the gyms again.
MODOU SALLAH said that the gyms are too big, but when the government allows them to operate, they can reduce the number of people coming in the gym, maintain safe distancing, as well as enforce the wearing of face masks in the gym. He further said that they were allowed to operate few weeks before the Tobaski, but after the Tobaski, they were asked to close. He noted that there were buckets that were placed at the entry of the gym for people to wash their hands before going into the gym. They checked their temperatures and also compelled them to wear face masks.
And third, if you go inside the gym, you see we got different cans of disinfectant. And we'll put it to all the customers that when you come in, before using any equipment, take the disinfectant and spray it on the equipment and lay your towels. So you have to sensitize them. Because for us to prevent this COVID-19, it's a big work, and we've already trained our members that what to do.
Ibrahim Asise, the manager of Rock House Fitness at Kairaba Avenue, also buttressed on the importance of training in the COVID-19 pandemic era, saying that it provides health assistance in terms of physical training and exercise, give the customers the necessary fitness and the health they deserve. Mr. Sise acknowledged that they engaged the authorities from the Gambia Weightlifting Federation as well as the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and they are hopeful of a positive response. Ibrahim Sise admitted that they cannot operate for 24 hours, but they have strategies put in place to prevent the spread of the virus.
Not basically operating for 24 hours, but there are strategies that during the course of this pandemic event, because since the outbreak began, we closed for like several months, and then after an appeal has been made, and then we were given the green light to resume operation based on guidelines.
Ndefatu Sane, a customer of the Universal Sports Gym, also said that she has been home for about 5 months now, and the closure of the gym is really affecting her health. She also said that the trainers at the gym advised them on their health and diet, which are very important to them. She concluded by urging the government to help them open the gyms, for it is important for their health as exercising is good for the body. Yamuno Koka reporting for Star TV News.
Those were the local stories. We will be back with the international news after the short break.
Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gosh, producers of the finest tomato paste in the Gambia. Jaja tomato paste, available in 5 kilos, 1 kilo and in sachets. For wholesale and retail, visit our factory at Banjulanding. We are also producers of Jaja mineral water, cool, clear and fresh. Gosh, Gambia, Angola, China Holding, with headquarters at Fatu Golden Plaza, Mile 7, Bertel Harding Highway. Gosh Group also provides the best security company, Gosh Security, for your offices, warehouses, homes and personal property. Gosh Group for all your construction projects, offering you quality water reticulation for your gardens, pump irrigation, tidal irrigation projects and all types of buildings. You can contact Gosh on 396-7894, 700-8993, 373-0259. Visit us at Gosh Global Group on Battle Harden Highway, Fatu Golden Plaza. Our website www.goshglobal.com. Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gosh.
The World Health Organization has declared Africa free of natural occurring polio. The continent's last case was reported in northern Nigeria 4 years ago. The announcement is a significant step in the 30 years long campaign to eradicate the disease worldwide. Only Afghanistan and Pakistan have polio infection now. However, the coronavirus pandemic is interrupting vaccination efforts. Al Jazeera Ahmed Idris reports from Nigeria's capital, Abuja.
The announcement has come too late for tens of thousands of polio victims here. With paralyzed limbs, life gets harder in a country where little attention is paid to the needs of the disabled. But for parents of future generations, a major source of worry is lifted. Campaigners say success was delayed because vaccination was stopped for years in many parts of northern Nigeria. Some parents said the oral polio vaccine was a birth control scheme. Boko Haram attacks are another major obstacle to the immunization campaign.
The challenges was inaccessibility. The challenges were how you deliver vaccine in hard to reach areas. The challenges that how you gain the trust those who need the vaccine.
Global intervention, especially by UNICEF and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, was critical in achieving success when immunization was restarted.
A clear indication that no matter what the challenge is, when all of humanity comes together with one dedicated purpose, focusing all our resources to really confront whatever challenges we face, then we can be triumphant. This is an example of triumph against a disease that is ancient.
Health experts warn that the threat of an outbreak remains. Some parents still resist immunizing their children, and there is a danger of a false sense of security.
Officials want to take their experience in fighting polio further by using similar resources in defeating the Ebola virus 6 years ago.
The same lessons, the same resources, the same frontline technology is what we're using to address COVID-19 in Nigeria.
The World Health Organization praised Nigeria's success as a victory for Africa, but warned that regular vaccinations and increased vigilance are required to defeat polio once and for all. Ahmed Idris, Al Jazeera, Abuja.
Sudan says it is in no position to normalize the relationship with Israel. The transitional government has told U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo it does not have any mandate to establish diplomatic tie with Israel. It is accused in Washington of using Sudan's being on the list of states that sponsor terrorism as leverage. Pompeo is on a regional tour in the Middle East, encouraging other Arab states to join the UAE in establishing diplomatic tie with Israel. Al Jazeera Hibi Mogwa reports from Khartoum.
Mike Pompeo became the first top U.S. diplomat to set foot in Sudan's capital Khartoum in 15 years when he arrived on Tuesday. His visit lasted just 3 hours. He'd hoped to persuade Sudan to join the UAE in normalizing relations with Israel. But following discussions with Prime Minister Abdullah Hamdok on U.S. support for the year-old transitional government and the ongoing peace process, Sudan's government said they could not be moved.
The government is a transitional government and consists of a broad coalition with different political views and ideologies, but what unites them is completing the transitional period, to end conflicts in the country, to focus on the issue of transitional justice, and to prepare for elections. As a transitional government, we are not in a position to discuss other agendas, including the issue of normalising ties with Israel. That will be left to an elected government, but we don't have a mandate to do so.
The visit was crucial for Sudan, which after more than 25 years on the US state sponsors of terrorism list, is hoping to finally turn a new page. 20 years of US sanctions also crippled the country's trade relations and limited diplomatic dealings between Sudan and many other countries. Talks between the two sides to have Sudan removed from the list have been ongoing since the current leadership came to power a year ago. But not placating Pompeo in his request for Sudan to warm relations with Israel could impact how fast that happens.
Congress members, hardliners, they say, look, they don't want to go forward to normalize the relation between the Israelis. Still there is a new government, but still they are stuck about the history of Sudan. Here we look to the Israeli as an enemy or something like this.
The U.S. Secretary of State was not the only high-level foreign visitor to meet with Sudan's leaders on Tuesday. Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed also landed in the Sudanese capital Khartoum and met with Prime Minister Hamdok and the head of the Sovereign Council Abdel Fattah al-Burhan. Border security and trade were among the topics discussed, but the most important topic was the dispute about the filling of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. Talks on the hydroelectric dam, said to be Africa's largest, have been going on for 5 years between Ethiopia and its downstream neighbors Sudan and Egypt. With each country heavily reliant on the Nile as a water source, discussions over how fast and how much water the dam is filled with have stalled repeatedly. And despite not reaching a deal, Ethiopia announced last month that it had begun filling it.
We have had a very fruitful discussion both on the GERD, other economic integration between Ethiopia and the Sudan. We have to focus on peace and development, also win-win solution in each we might have to discuss between the two countries.
And while many issues remain unresolved, Sudan's government sees these visits by the US and Ethiopia as a sign of improving relations on the international stage. Hiba Morgan, Al Jazeera, Khartoum.
US President Donald Trump, First Lady Melania and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo were speaking on the second day of the Republican National Convention. Breaking this decade of president, the First Lady spoke from the White House Rose Garden, while Pompeo recorded his address while on the diplomatic mission. Jazila Kami Hakro reports from the White House in Washington, D.C.
We explore together America.
It was a night billed as a tribute to the great American story and the people empowered to succeed by President Trump's policies. Many of those stories appeared to be produced by the former reality TV star himself, breaking with precedent that presidential candidates lay low until the final night of the convention. Trump appeared 3 times.
I grant John, I'm not sure you know this, a full pardon.
He issued a presidential pardon, restoring the rights of a bank robber who has made it his mission to improve the lives of convicts.
And repeat after me.
In another made-for-TV moment, Trump incorporated a citizenship ceremony into the program to reach out to voters of color, touting his push for legal immigration. Breaking with tradition, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo appeared from West Jerusalem while on official government business, despite telling his own diplomatic corps weeks earlier that overt partisan politics violated U.S. law. He told voters only President Trump will keep American freedoms intact.
Because President Trump has put his America First vision into action. It may not have made him popular in every foreign capital, but it's worked.
The second night of the Republican National Convention remained a family affair as it had the night earlier. 2 more of Trump's children spoke. His son Eric and daughter Tiffany railed against the media coverage of their father.
People must recognize that our thoughts, our opinions, and even the choice of who we are voting for may and are being manipulated and visibly coerced by the media and tech giants.
But it was First Lady Melania Trump who delivered Tuesday evening's marquee address, making an appeal to women voters to support her husband. She outlined the challenges he needs to overcome, from racial unrest to tens of thousands of Americans dead from COVID-19.
I know many people are anxious and some feel helpless. I want you to know you're not alone. My husband's administration will not stop fighting until there is an effective treatment or vaccine available to everyone.
Indeed, the First Lady was one of the few speakers at the Republican National Convention to acknowledge the personal devastation and heartbreak that Americans have faced during the pandemic. It's a pandemic many blame President Trump for not doing more to stop. It's a narrative he may not be able to overcome with just 10 weeks until the election. Kimberly Helkett, Al Jazeera, the White House.
Before we end the news, a recap of our main headlines. President Barrow participates in the first virtual meeting of the Cabinet Subcommittee on COVID-19. New 3 COVID-19 related deaths as 22 new cases recorded on Tuesday. The WHO warns smokers have higher chances of getting COVID-19. The gym is one of the most important places to operate during this pandemic, says MODOU SALLAH. On the international scene, WHO declare Africa free of polio. The Sudan Prime Minister said government has no mandate to normalize Israel ties. Republicans tout inclusive a vision for Donald Trump's re-election. That's all we have for this edition of the news. Thank you for watching. Join us for tomorrow's news.